everyone. Welcome to Letting It Linger with Litabo. And I am Litabo, your host with the most. What is up, you guys? Today is New Year's Eve, and well, it's still early. So no one's doing anything like fun yet, but it's quiet, kind of. So I thought I'd make a podcast episode. Because of, okay, let's get into it actually, guys, why I started this podcast. I've had, a little hankering to start a podcast for a long while, but I recently saw that my friend who I went to school with, started a podcast, and it just inspired me. Sorry, I realized that, I'm so sorry. My pills make me yawn. Anyway, I realized that, actually, anyone can start a podcast, and, do you know what? I should totally do that. People, I have to, there's things that I just have to get out of my mind, off my chest, That sometimes, I journal a lot. Sometimes I don't write things in my journal just because, it's, offsides. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, this is fun and a great thing, which I'm really excited for. And I hope you guys like it because, yeah, if you don't, then I don't know. Anyway, let's get into today's podcast topic. I have a few topics in my notes app, but one that I just wanted to get out of the way before, because some of the things I have down are a little, I don't know, maybe not a good introduction to me and to the podcast. So, one of the things I have down that I was this is something chill that I could just, get it, wham bam, thank you ma'am, and it'll be done. And is the topic of true love, or okay, there's a lot that comes with that, so I'll put it that way. True love. So I think this one is going to be an interesting one because I don't think I've really ever experienced true romantic love, because that's usually what people refer to when they refer to true love. That's a romantic something, in the fairy tales and stuff. True love's kiss can't be your bestie or something. Do you know what I mean? It has to be your lover. So yeah, I have a few opinions on love, romantic love, that maybe are uninformed because I've never really been in a serious relationship or experienced true love. I know some people who might beg to differ, but just walk with me. Okay, so where do I want to start with this? I think I want to start by saying I don't know really. Okay, I know how it feels, but I don't know what on paper differentiates platonic and romantic love. I've felt the difference, of course. Wanting someone and loving your friends is obviously different. But what is that on paper? Because what is romantic love? You care about someone and want to make them happy, and you feel, I don't know, and I feel like I care about my friends and I want to see them happy, and I'm willing to do it, whatever to make my the people I love happy. Um, that's something that I struggled with my most recent crush that I had. So embarrassing, but um, I like at first it was like just a deep sense of admiration, and like I just thought she was really cool. Um, I I thought, oh, wow, she's so such a unique. Uh, that's a maybe that's a bad word to describe her, but she's such a rare person. By the way, if you hear a little bit of noise in the background, there's some cars outside, and also, but this is the quietest that it's ever gonna be here. Oh my god, there's one that's about to drive past. Let me just pause. Anyhow, I live in a complex, so there's a lot of people coming in and going out a lot of the time. Anyhow, I'm crocheting while I speak, so if you hear something, it's probably that me like breaking the wall because I lost my scissors, or well, actually they were thrown away, but we don't we don't have to get into that. Um, or yeah, me actually crocheting. Anyway, I was talking about the feelings I had for this girl. Um, this was like August. The end of it was in August. It was a really messy affair, the whole thing, but whatever, we'll get into that. But I'm just at the beginning, it started out as I just really thought she was cool, I found myself kind of in this like trance, at everything that she did. Like, I just, this sounds so fucking cheesy, but I was really like enamored with the way that I, I found her walk to be so graceful, the way she spoke, even though sometimes, she was she's a little, she can be vulgar, I guess, but the general scheme of things, which now I think it's funny to look back on because um her our whole thing is like, I guess our friends see her as, or I have a friend, we have a mutual friend who always calls her like off-putting and says that like the way she walks makes her uncomfortable. But there was this grace to her, I guess, that I loved to watch and to experience and to be near. And I thought that doesn't have to be romantic, and I still don't think that has to be romantic. And I was fine with that, I have this friend who I'm really, really a huge fan of, which is not uncommon for me. I love my friends more than anything, and I'm all my friends' biggest fan. And looking back on it, it might also have been exposure to something new because I just found out about her existence. Not just, but we've been chatting it up. We've been like chopping it up for like a few months, just as friends, obviously. And I was kind of thrust into this new world, like a new way of seeing things because she had, she was kind of, I really liked how unapologetically she was herself, unapologetically herself she was. Um, she was just like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And I think my fascination in her and my yeah, it could be chalked up to just a new pair of eyes to see through, and an enjoyment of that. I don't know if what I'm saying is making sense actually, but yeah, just having met someone new and so different from other people I've met, maybe. I still wonder about it to this day, honestly. I can't pinpoint it, and I can't pinpoint when I decided that it was not in a platonic way. And do you know what? When I was younger, I I believed love was a cruel thing that we were subjected to, rather than a beautiful thing that we feel, about another person. It's like a thing that eats at you, or a thing that inherently hurts. And maybe, I don't know, I think everything inherently hurts. With existence comes pain. And that's not to say that that's a bad thing. I think that's one of the more beautiful things. Pain comes from, or, to live in spite of the pain is, I think, something so beautiful. It's like, okay, this is really offsides, but it's like, Hayley Williams of Paramore. I love Paramore, but Hayley Williams has this solo album called Pedals for Armor, and she was explaining why the album is called that in this one interview, and she was saying that, petals are such a flowers, generally are so strong, they can, wildflowers more specifically, I guess, but they can dig their way through, those arid, dry soils. Do you know what I mean? They can dig their way through tightly packed soil, and a flower comes up and its petals are soft and beautiful. So, it was something about being vulnerable and still being strong. How strength comes with vulnerability. Anyway, I think that's a beautiful image. And it's kind of like that. I think maybe, yes, love is inherently a painful thing, but I think the fact that we love despite the inherent pain makes it so beautiful. Anyhow, this girlie that I had a crush on, I think I knew that it was going to become a crush, and I hated myself for it. I was like, why do I have to like her? It can be a platonic thing, and I feel like she might have felt the same. Shame. But anyway, yeah, I think that time was the first time I really realized that people love because it feels so good to be seen like that, because even though she didn't reciprocate the feelings I had for her, and she didn't make that too clear. Anyway, that's not even important, guys. That's way past now, and we're still good buddies, and she might listen to this. Anyway, even though she didn't reciprocate those feelings, I felt like she saw me and understood me in a really like intimate way, like a way that like shocked me. And on top of that, she saw me and she understood me, and she didn't it that wasn't a bad thing. She didn't judge. She understood, and sometimes related even. which I thought was so special, and I wanted to keep that, and I still do. I really appreciate that we um understand each other so well, or try to at very least. I think maybe our dynamic changed a little after everything unfolded, but I still think we've managed to keep that knowing each other and a sense of comfort, maybe, I don't know, from the other, which is a thing that I also really liked about her. Anyway, yeah. Where was I going with this even? So, oh, right. I realized, like, yeah, people love because of that. And this is really embarrassing. This is really fucking embarrassing. But most of the time, I didn't even care if she, like, didn't want me. I just wanted to be there for her, you know, and love her and give her the love that I had, because I knew that she could give me what she had back, even if it wasn't what I thought or exactly what I gave to her. She's giving me what she can give to me. And as sad as it sounds, I think that attitude is beautiful, and I try to keep that about everyone. I'm open with my feelings about everyone, because I know that if I'm open, then it'll maybe, hopefully, inspire those around me to be open with their emotions and give me what they have for me, be it negative or positive. I'm appreciative, because you know it's better not to be liked by everyone, or to have your grievances out in the air, than to be a fool, you know, and not know that people feel this way about you. And it's better than, you know, a text, like a "do you hate me" text every 10 days, which I did have that era. But I realized, and I will talk about this in a later episode, I realized that that's actually a really bad thing. Like, that's I'm gonna save it. Okay, let me say this much. It's like um, what's that thing that you put if fire. Okay, but it eggs on the flame of a really unhealthy kind of dynamic in any sort of relationship. And you shouldn't do that, guys. Just assume that they mad at you and they hate you. Just imagine that you asked them that question and they said yes, and then feel it, and then realize you're being stupid. Anyway, but I'll talk about that because, listen, I'm actually really excited about this podcast, guys. I love talking. Anyway, I say all that to say, don't be gay, okay? Because it's really bad. It's really bad. I fell in love with somebody who doesn't even know my name. My friend used to always sing that song. It's really funny. I don't even know where it's from, but it was just her thing. Anyway, I miss my friends, my school friends, because I am going to varsity next year. And I've gone to the same school for 13 years, excuse me. And I've known most of the same people for those 13 years. It's so crazy. But I'm excited, I guess, to start a new chapter. I'm always excited to start new chapters. I love meeting new people. I'm terrible with people, although the people that know me would beg to differ. I think I'm really terrible with people. I'm incredibly awkward. And yeah. Mm, yeah. Sometimes I, yeah, sometimes I like just ramble, or sometimes I don't talk enough. And I never know when it's appropriate to do either. And so I'm always doing them at the wrong times. Anyhow, yeah. Um, though I've never known a serious relationship and, a romantic back and forth, I've known like a fraction of it. And I think love is a really important thing. Okay, not really important, but I think love is a really beautiful thing. Romantic love, I guess, is a really beautiful thing. It's not important as, say, okay, maybe you can say like love is like, romantic love is like important so that you can fuck and have babies. But like, I'm actually gay, so I don't even think about that, TBH. I think romantic love is important as platonic love and familial, yeah, understandings. You know what I mean? Um, I think it has its place, but people make it entirely too important, I think. And I have made it entirely too important for a huge chunk of my life. But after the insanely horrible situation of the most recent crush that I was just talking about, I was like, actually, I think I should decenter romantic love in my life, because, or the search for it. I should just give that up, girl, because I was also basing my self worth on the fact that, because guys, this is actually really embarrassing to admit still, but I don't know of anyone that's ever like actually wanted me, or actually loved me romantically. And that's so sad, because I'm literally 18. I've been around for 18 years, and no one has ever been like, oh, smash. Okay, not oh, smash, but like, someone has been like, oh, smash, but no one's been like, oh, I want to know you really deeply, and and be your BF or GF. um and I want to smooch you and also be super emotional about it. I want to smooch you because I love you, and not because I want to bed you. And honestly, I feel like I was just being picky. Like, I'll take that bed smooch because okay, no, actually, that's so bad. I take that back. I think that I'm okay not having romantic love until, because I've realized I don't think I'm ready for that. I realized this year that I have a lot to work on myself. Yo, I have a lot to work on regarding, the way I act when I feel that way about someone, and the feeling itself. And um this year and last year were my years of learning that I'm actually not ready for a relationship, and if one were to come to me, I would have to turn it down, because I just have a lot of work to do inwardly. Like, I'm actually crazy and evil. Like, I couldn't subject someone to that. I Yeah, I couldn't do that, because I know myself, and I know I'm what's the word? I'm like fragile. I know now, I trust that I have, the capacity to love normally and to love in gen, but I know how ever changing humans are, and how something can be set in stone now and it can crumble in 5 seconds, guys. Like, that's just the way of oh my gosh, Björk has a song about human nature. It's like this. Let's get. Oh wait, that's another song. It's like this. It's called human behavior. It's called Human Behavior. It's really good. It's off her debut album, which is so great. Yesterday when I was doing yesterday I was practicing for my podcast and I started talking about Bjork and Prince and how their debut albums are so good, but like everyone just sees them as like, oh, like this isn't even her best work because they're not. They're they're nowhere near their best work. Like Prince, that's easily, um purple bitch when doves what's that album called? The album was Purple Rain on it though. Anyway. I forgot what it's called. And also the album that came after that, Saint. Oh my gosh, I always get them mixed up. There's a Beatles album. The Beatles album was Strawberry Fields Forever. And the Prince album that came after the Purple Rain album. Me forgetting the name. Anyway, because they have like the sound is not similar, but they both went from like kind of what people consider to be their best, or okay, not for necessarily for the Beatles, but the Beatles went from mid to like this album, which I feel is their best. I hate the Beatles, but I tolerate this album genuinely. And it had this kind of psychedelic vibe ish, like this funky, groovy, like chilled 70s. It's so 70s or so 60s. And Prince had the same. He had but there's one that's like Sergeant Pepper. I think that's the Beatles one, and the other one is like something something raspberry something something beret. Anyway, I always get them confused because they also, I think both of the album covers are blue, and yeah, I have a terrible memory, so yes, but that Prince album is like my favorite of his. Maybe it's what I believe to be his best. Just cause like he's chill and he's just a chill dude. And Bjork, her best would probably be Vespertine or Homogenic. That might be a bit controversial. I don't know. Bjork people, I don't know how they are. But yeah, like people when we're talking about their discographies, there's albums that go forgotten. Like okay, people I've seen people talking about 1991 for Prince, but for instance, his self-titled, and you see even I've forgotten that album. Is it Bad? You I forgot what it's called, but it's got like newspapers on it. It's anyway, it'll come back to me maybe. And for Bjork, it's like Post, and what's that album? The one where the songs are like all like it's all the sounds of the album are her voice technically. Is it Medulla? Anyway, yeah. By the way, I just want this to be a super chill thing, which is why you hear me fumbling, stuttering, but we're just hanging out, okay? We're just buds and we're just hanging out. This is how I speak in real life, if not worse. I think I'm trying to hold myself back from being like too I think I go I ramble and I my brain just goes everywhere but home. But anyway, I say all this to say there's like the forgotten albums and then there's like the debut album, which is like a certain, like a whole different category. Do you know what I mean? The same for Paramore. I think their best album, everyone agrees, is Riot, and their like overlooked albums are like This Is Why, which is quite sad because that's a really good one, but it's their most recent. This Is Why, and After Laughter was not well received, I guess, because they stopped doing that punk thing. They had a new sound. Everyone was like, how could you do this? Anyway, but the debut albums, For You, Prince Parts debut for Bjork, and All We Know Is Falling for Paramore, they were just like no one no one if acknowledges how great they are, especially for debuts. They were really great. Especially, I think out of the three, Debut is such a good album for a debut album. It's like so advanced. It's like the production is so rich and like lush, and she really has a knowledge about her voice, and you know, I think it's so, and she has a unique style already, which is I think where Prince's debut album fell flat, is the production was perfect and he had the lyrics, but and he had the voice, but I think the identity took a while to build up. Everyone was doing like disco, funk, and R&B at the time, and that's what he was doing too. And I guess no one cared, which is quite sad because it's so good. And Paramore, I think they had the same. Well, I think their problem is they had too many identities. They had too many things that they wanted to put into the album at once, and so it sounds a bit all over the place. But I think it's a great, especially when you consider that that specific album is made by like teenagers. Hailey and Taylor were like 13 when some of the songs were written. I know they were 13 when Hailey was signed, but they were like 15 to 17. Actually, the oldest member was 20 something technically, but he doesn't even exist. Like, let's be for real. Anyway, they're like 15 to 17, Masicho, when they did the promotion for this album, which is like so crazy. Like, they were really just kids and they ate and left no grounds. Anyway, guys, oh my god, a song that I love from Prince's debut album, my favorite, this is so random, but I love Soft and Wet because now it's playing in my head. That song is so dirty, but it's like, your love is soft and wet and blah blah blah. Anyway, this is really random because I was just listening back to I was just listening to the way I speak because yesterday obviously I was practicing for the podcast, and I do certain things a lot that I realize I picked up from watching so much Poppy. I don't know if you guys know Poppy, but she was like this YouTuber. She started out in like 2012, but she started out as Poppy with the whole image in like 2014, and she went like viral in 2017, viral-ish, for the 10-minute video of her saying her name. Apparently she said it 666 times, which is so cool. But I'm Poppy, that video, I loved that video, and I used to play it for my transport, and they used to they actually thought I was crazy. Like, they were really concerned about my love for Poppy. This was when I was in like grade 9, but I was really into her. I still am. I love the little off-putting vibe that she gives, and I love her new sound. The album that she put out in November, called Negative Spaces, is Good. I haven't listened to all the songs just because I don't have Spotify Premium and I can't just listen to all the songs. I have to listen to everything on Spotify, Smart Shuffle, on Smart Shuffle, and it just plays me random songs, which is really heartbreaking, honestly. I think, anyway, I don't even want to get into that. But the songs I have heard are really good. The album is like, it's like, a whole ton of different sounds, and I really appreciate that. She's got range, you know. She can do a little indie pop sound, and she can also do like a bubblegum pop sound, and she can also do like a heavier mm, like metal, I want to say, sound. And I think that's cool. I love when an artist has range. Oh, speaking of range, Willow Smith, I love. You see how I'm just turning everything up into like me talking about music? I love music so much. And on the topic of Willow, because her latest album is like jazzy and mm, yeah, I love jazz. I grew up on like, you know, the vocal jazz standards and also on the other jazz, you know. Um, my dad recently got this CD. I think what is it called? The Sound of Silence, Miles Davis, and it's like a 20-minute song, and he always plays it on road trips. He loves it so much. But yeah, my parents were big lovers of music, so I grew up on their music for the most part. Mm. And so I think music is like ingrained in my DNA, you know? I really want. I was also thinking about this yesterday. Like, my mom's uh, CDs were taken away when she passed away. They were taken to this like storage place with all her other stuff. And I think when I get a house of my own, I'm gonna take those CDs because my mom was so like borderline insufferable. Actually, not even borderline. She was insufferable in the most loving way possible. I just love it. I love to look back on it, and I think I might be the same way, honestly speaking, now. So I can't say it with any bad feelings, with any hard feelings, that my mom was the most insufferable about her music taste. Not that she was like pretentious or anything, but she wanted you to know, like she put it in your, and I would too, girl. It was her house and her music. Like whose music would she play if not her own, you know? But she, because it's so close, or because it's New Year's Eve, I have this story. Story time. From when I was 13, my mom's best friend, who is, I used to be friends with, and actually we grew up thinking that we were cousins, but we're actually not. Anyway, um, gosh, uh, I, yeah, they came over for New Year's, and my mom was like, she had this phase, like she had phases, you know, for her different, she had like a huge collection of CDs, and some would stay in the garage and some would be like out, you know, by the DVD player, so that she could have easy access to them. And she, every now and then she like switched them out and stuff, I guess depending on her mood. And you know, we all have those phases where we listen to different music, you know. So yeah, but she was having a phase for this album. I remember it so vividly, and recently I revisited the songs, and listening to them is like, it's like magic. Like I'm taken back to that time. It's so vivid. Anyway, The album is Born to Love by Peebo Bryson and Roberta Flack. Uh, and she used to always play her favorite song. She would say it was Heaven Above Me. I believe that's what it's called. Excuse me. It goes like, God, I'm so glad you found me. Ooh, every time you touch me. Not important how it goes, hey. I just use that as an excuse to sing, and I don't even think I ate. We'll see though. Anyway, she used to play it on loop for like the entire day if she felt like it. And we used to beg her, please, like just play anything else, like, you know. And recently my dad had bought me a Sam Smith album. It was in the I forgot what the album is called. But that Sam Smith album was I know I'm not the only one, and I don't have money on my mind. And I go home. I saw that song was trending, and I was like, "What the heck?" Blast from the past. And leave your lover, leave him for me. I love that song. Anyway, and I wanted to play, my Sam Smith album, and I was like, but I was like, please, Mama, even if you don't play, your music, play something else. Just I'm tired. And she didn't care. That was her song that she loved, and she was gonna play it. So this New Year's Eve, we were celebrating, and she puts on the damn Born to Love album. And the first few songs, I think the first song is Born to Love, or Just Came Here to Dance, which is like this beautiful ballad that, oh my gosh, I want to talk about this in another episode, but I'll talk about this part. Yeah, and then the next songs, but it's like, a few songs, and then, but I believe Heaven Above Me is really early in the track list, but once it plays, it doesn't stop. You can't get further than that with my mom. So we were all dreading it, and like my cousin and I like crossed our fingers, but she played it like, in fact, she skipped all the songs before it. She went straight to Heaven Above Me. She played it, and we stayed up. My mom doesn't like when we stay up, but we stayed up for New Year's. She didn't like that, but we did it every year anyway. But we stayed up just asking her, please, just play something else for God's sake. She didn't, but why did I even tell you this story? Oh, because of how my mom was with her music. Yeah, and now listening to that song, I get the feeling like it's nostalgia, of course. I can't think of those days badly anymore, but I get this feeling like it's like I'm taken back there, which is not unique to me, a unique feeling to me. My cousin used to tell me, because my mom also really loved country music and she loved Dolly Parton. But her best friend, with the granddaughter who was my fake cousin, used to love Jolene specifically, and my mom had a Dolly Parton Greatest Hits album, and I think the first song was Jolene, and she used to demand. She used to say, "Pule, kafago Jolene," and she couldn't sing for the life of her. I believe she could sing, but I think she was just playing. But she loved Jolene. She'd sing along, and after my mom passed, I lived with them for a while, and they used to like feel what I felt, I believe, with Heaven Above Me with Jolene. For a while, my mom's friend, she couldn't listen to Jolene, because of, the memories it brought back of being at her house. They used to always have like a glass of wine and talk, be ladies. I couldn't wait until I got to that age back then so I could have wine with my gals. Just, I didn't even know what my mom did. I mean, I always knew my mom was a teacher, but I didn't know teachers drank wine and were girls. Like, they're busy girls, like, lit. And, like, I didn't know teachers were allowed to do that. But, yeah. Mm. Another thing that I hope I took from my mom, apart from my feelings about music, and is the way that the impacts that she had on everyone's life. It was so bittersweet. After she passed away, everyone messaged me telling me, how great of an impact she had on everyone's life, how like special she was. Because my mom was really like a ray of sunlight. She was like, literally, she was always dressed in bright colors. She was bubbly and happy, and but if you needed something, my mom was there. My mom was the most wonderful anyway. The most wonderful, most selfless woman. And the people she surrounded herself with really loved her. Sometimes I think there were people that exploited her, but maybe I was too young and I was making movies in my head. But yeah, I'd like to have an impact on lives the way my mom did, just because that's so beautiful to see. Anyway, I was talking about jazz. I love jazz music, and I can't wait until I learn how to scat, guys. And I will learn, okay? And then it's gonna be over for all of you. I'm being so serious. Count your fucking days. When I learn how to scat, it's over for everyone that sings. It'll be all I do. I heard Ella Fitzgerald is such an amazing scatter. Is so good at scatting. I don't know if that's what it's called, but I heard her do a cover of One Note Samba. This is just a little samba built upon a single note. Other notes are bound to follow, but the root is still that note. Now this new one is a consequence of the one that we've been through, as I'm bound to be the unavoidable consequence of you. There's so many people who can talk and talk and talk and just say nothing. I love that song. Anyway, I heard her do a cover of One Note Samba, and she was just scatting. I don't know. I like to imagine that it was because she doesn't speak Spanish. Or is it Portuguese? Anyway, the song is not in English. There are English versions of it, but I imagine, before the English version was written, or she just didn't want to, discredit the original language, and so she just scattered. But it's so beautiful. I love scatting so much. And I also saw a video of her with Louis. Ella and Louis, the best music duo. There's nothing like that in the world, and there never will be. If there is, please put me on. Please put me on. But yeah. What was I saying all this? Oh, I love jazz music, and I love the way it's evolved. Um, past it's it's kept its original form, but it's blended into, because jazz is every genre, it belongs everywhere, and it's influenced every genre of music. But it's shot off into, like, I feel like neo soul is a product of jazz in a way. Do you know what I mean? Like, soul, jazz, they just sugar. Like it makes sense in my brain. Like you better think and just I want some of your brown sugar. If you guys know what I'm saying, then you know. Then you know. But like I feel like jazz is like the birther of guys. I love black people. Why did they even make? Oh my god. Like music. Like where would music be without black people? We should all mill on that. I'm gonna stop talking now because I can feel that it's been long and I'm tired. But let's all ponder on what music would be without black people. Okay, I'm gonna peace out. I'm gonna log out now. Not actually log out, but I'm in this episode. Do you like that? I'm gonna log out now. Anyway, I gotta go. I don't have to, but I will. Okay, do you see? Okay, anyway, it was so much fun, and I hope you guys will join me for the next episode, and I hope I didn't bore you too much. I hope I was a great hostess with the mostest. Okay. I hope you like listening to me yap, and I hope you are having a great time. And I hope you have a happy new year or had a happy new year. And I hope if you're listening to this, you see all the love in the world. I even forgot what I was talking about at the beginning of this. Anyway, I think that's how podcasts be low key. They just be switching topics. Anyway, it doesn't even matter. I'll just be rambling. Anyway, wish a lot of love for you if you're listening. If you made it to the end. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Thank you so much for tuning in. And this was Letting It Linger with Litabo. Mwah. Bye.